essential for good professional education? Can the profession make it obligatory? And this is, with all respects, I submit before senior advocates who are present here. Can the profession, the Bar Council of India or any bar association, make it obligatory for every senior advocate to spend certain minimum number of hours every week in the law school in the area in an honorary capacity as an adjunct professor? Can the judiciary encourage retired judges to similarly associate with legal education and research? Again, perhaps honorary capacity or perhaps a small allowance. Can the teacher-student ratio in the law schools be maintained at 1:20? Should the profession be investing? We heard about fantastic fees being charged by lawyers in Delhi or Madras or elsewhere. Can we ask a part of their enormous earnings for investment in legal education? I'm happy that some of the lawyers are doing it. I particularly must mention to you Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Mr. Parasharan, as I have collected money from him for the National Law School. Mr. Venugopal has offered 10 crores for setting up a good law school. And we have gone to Kerala because he wanted to have it in the name of his father, late father M.K. Nambia. Chief Minister accepted the money, but after 1 year returned the draft. Well, who wants a law school? Because the politicians and others who rule, they have a poor idea about lawyers and courts and law. And they don't understand, and many of them surprisingly hold LLB degrees also. That's unfortunate. Anyway, last point that I want to mention is about the ethics. Can law schools teach professional ethics? How do you teach ethics? I've asked this question many times. With what materials are you going to teach? We all want to have an ethical lawyer turned out from the law school. In ancient times, we had role models, and we could learn from role models. Today, they are disappearing. So there is no role model among the legal stalwarts. There is no role model among the judiciary. There is no role model among law teachers. And things that are happening, these young people are very quick to realize for whatever it is worth. And if you want to respond to their queries, you must be able to reason, which is the function of law, even on ethics. Therefore, higher education generally and professional education in particular, I do realize that law schools have a role for the unethical happenings that happened in the Madras High Court. Law schools have a role in whatever is happening in different parts where lawyers are attacked. This is because that whatever education is not education, it's some information that has been transferred. Therefore, higher education generally and legal education in particular cannot absolve itself of the responsibility of widespread unethical lawyering today. The acts and omissions in the education of lawyers which contribute to large-scale compromise of ethical conduct and professionalism can be traced to what is taught or what is not taught and the way it is taught. Unlike in the past, there are no role models. When law is studied mainly through analysis of statutes and judicial decisions, there is little scope to discuss the social and ethical dilemmas in decision making or in legal practice. In fact, the latest report of the Carnegie Foundation in America, educating lawyers, they are widely worried about what Harvard and Yale and others have done. And they have said that this Harvard model, the Langdalian model of thinking like a lawyer, that is what the case method is supposed to teach. That should be abolished. Because you are creating some sort of mechanical, away from society, divorced from ethics, a mind, an intellectual mind to work with rules and play around in a game, rather than concerned with the noble delivery of justice. Therefore, please de-emphasize this method of teaching in many of these prestigious American law schools. Carnegie report is now the consideration of the deans, law deans of America, to radically change legal education in America. Otherwise, they declare there is no future. Now, we should therefore be concerned by these aberrations which are pointed out, as happened in the Madras High Court, and look to the law school. You can't change the society as a whole, but law school, 5 years, and a young man at the age of 17, and 5 years, if you can't create a person with some character, elementary things, what are you teaching? Therefore, the problem is staring in the face of the law teaching community. It's not the discipline that, of course, we try in our own way. Wider issues of justice in society. Well, naturally, standards of integrity, impartiality, fairness, courtesy, respect, public service, humanism, a concern for weaker sections, concern for human suffering. How do you teach that? Ethics education is in total shambles. There is no serious effort either at the law school level or at the professional level to impart instruction in ethical lawyering to the new entrant to the bar. A survey reported that many practice profession called lawyering. Training in professional responsibility demands clarification of professional values, identification of strategies best suited for its instruction, and mobilization of resources. And I must tell you, I saw a fascinating module for teaching ethical lawyering taken from the life of Mahatma Gandhi when he was practicing in South Africa. Through video clippings of Gandhiji's days from the film Gandhi and from excerpt from Gandhiji's writings as a lawyer, he has written on law and lawyers. Questions have been raised to the class by an American professor for his professional ethics class. Fascinating. Therefore, the professional ethics are being taught in American law schools through an Indian lawyer. Whereas we have forgotten Gandhi, that is a different question. So my point, and thank you for your patience, I would like to submit a plan of action is needed. We have to have an educational continuum. And this is for the leaders of the bar. The judges have their limitations. There is a need to reassess the law school's role in professional development. In the process, there is a need to take stock of our strengths and weaknesses, clarify the knowledge, skills, and values required for responsible lawyering in contemporary times, and provide a plan of action. The plan should stipulate the infrastructural needs of a modern law school and should guarantee the resources needed. The plan must provide for mandatory continuing education to every practicing lawyer, law teacher, and judge to ensure maintenance of professional standards in a changing environment. The organized profession is unlikely to take the initiative for such radical reform in professional development. For the government, it is not a priority item in its agenda. Law schools are too weak and disorganized to be able to mobilize action of the kind required for the purpose. Perhaps, I believe the Chennai initiative, this initiative of the National Law School alumni in bringing together the bar, the bench, and the academia on a common platform to discuss the strategies for a world-class legal system might give the required momentum for the leaders of the bar to decide on a plan of action for professional development in which the law schools may have a central role to play. I am again dreaming on that. I only submit to you, perhaps taking a cue from Elizabeth and her colleagues here, some of the students in Delhi are also trying to develop a plan of action for a world-class legal system, and also perhaps involve me in that on Teachers' Day on September 5th. And perhaps I told them that you may borrow this idea of the role bench and a bar. The Chief Justice of India gave a lot of encouragement for that. So perhaps there is a movement to self-introspect. Because there is no dearth of money, let me assure you. Lot of money. We want good men and women who are prepared to make it possible, that change. And that willingness I find from these young colleagues who came through the National Law School 2 decades back. Chennai has sounded it, perhaps it will reverberate, and before losing much time, we will have a plan of action to prepare a world-class legal system for this country, which it deserves. Thank you very much for all the courtesies. I think it is really not only sacrificing your Sunday, but also your lunch. I apologize for taking this time. I thank once again to my dear students who brought me here and honored me on this occasion.